Part 2. Scope and Planning of an ISMS Objective. Introduction. Welcome back to our journey through ISO 27001-2022. Today, we'll focus on one of the most crucial steps in building an effective information security management system, defining its scope and planning its objectives. Think of your ISMS scope as a security map that outlines what areas of your organization are covered, what assets need protection, and how security measures align with business goals and compliance regulations. By the end of this session, you'll be able to define an ISMS scope that is realistic, aligned with business needs, and capable of mitigating risks while ensuring regulatory compliance. Let's get started. Defining the ISMS scope, a strategic foundation for security. What is the scope of an ISMS? The scope of an ISMS defines the specific assets, processes, and locations covered under an organization's security framework. A well-defined scope ensures that security measures are focused on critical business areas, rather than being too broad or too restrictive. Breaking down ISMS scope components. 1. Establish boundaries. What should be included? What should be excluded? The first step is defining the boundaries of your ISMS scope. For instance, a small accounting firm may focus only on protecting client financial data and employee laptops that access it. Meanwhile, a multinational bank may cover multiple regions, customer accounts, and transaction platforms. Identify assets, processes, and locations. Security isn't just about data. It includes physical infrastructure, cloud services, and IT systems. Example, a logistics company securing its warehouses, cloud-based tracking software, and customer order management systems. PAT. Align scope with business goals and compliance needs. Defining the ISMS scope should support business objectives while meeting legal and regulatory standards. Example, an e-commerce company includes online payment processing and customer data storage to comply with PCI DSS regulations while ensuring a seamless shopping experience. Why is scope definition important? What is the scope of an ISMS? The scope of an ISMS defines the specific assets, processes, and locations covered under an organization's security framework. A well-defined scope ensures that security measures are focused on critical business areas rather than being too broad or too restrictive. Breaking down ISMS scope components. 1. Establish boundaries. What should be included? What should be excluded? The first step is defining the boundaries of your ISMS scope. For instance, a small accounting firm may focus only on protecting client financial data and employee laptops that access it. Meanwhile, a multinational bank may cover multiple regions, customer accounts, and transaction platforms. 2. Identify assets, processes, and locations. Security isn't just about data. It includes physical infrastructure, cloud services, and IT systems. Example, a logistics company securing its warehouses, cloud-based tracking software, and customer order management systems. Align scope with business goals and compliance needs. Defining the ISMS scope should support business objectives while meeting legal and regulatory standards. Example, an e-commerce company includes online payment processing and customer data storage to comply with PCI DSS regulations while ensuring a seamless shopping experience. Why is scope definition important? How to define an ISMS scope. Step 1. Consider your organization's context. Start by understanding your industry, business model, and security needs. Are you a financial institution securing transactions? A tech startup protecting customer data? This influences the scope. Step 2. Ask critical questions. What data, systems, and processes need protection? What legal or industry regulations apply? What external threats impact security? Who are the stakeholders, and what are their expectations? Step 3. Define scope boundaries. Clearly outline what's included and excluded. Example: a pharmaceutical company includes clinical trial data storage but excludes general HR operations. Step 4. Identify risks, requirements, and processes. What are the biggest security risks your organization faces? What compliance obligations must you meet? For example, a bank identifies credit card fraud as a top risk and includes multi-factor authentication systems in its ISMS. Step 5. Document and communicate scope statement. Once your ISMS scope is defined, ensure senior management approval and communicate it clearly across the organization. Example: ISMS scope statement. For instance, a small accounting firm may focus only on protecting client financial data and employee laptops that access it. Meanwhile, a multinational bank may cover multiple regions, customer accounts, and transaction platforms. 2. Identify assets, processes, and locations. Security isn't just about data. It includes physical infrastructure, cloud services, and IT systems. Example: a logistics company securing its warehouses, cloud-based tracking software, and customer order management systems. Align scope with business goals and compliance needs. Defining the ISMS scope should support business objectives while meeting legal and regulatory standards. Example: an e-commerce company includes online payment processing and customer data storage to comply with PCI DSS regulations while ensuring a seamless shopping experience. Why is scope definition important? Organizational, geographical, and technological scope. 1. Organizational perspective. Decide which departments, teams, or subsidiaries fall under the ISMS scope. Geographical perspective. Will your ISMS apply to specific locations, regional, branches, or global operations? T. Technological perspective. What IT systems, databases, and devices are included? Example: a global e-commerce retailer includes customer-facing platforms and internal data centers in its ISMS scope. Overcoming common ISMS scope challenges. Challenge 1. Scope is too broad or too narrow. Solution: conduct a risk assessment to prioritize security focus areas. Challenge 2. Lack of leadership support. Solution: demonstrate the business value of ISMS with real-world case studies. Challenge 3. Poor communication of scope. Solution: use diagrams, reports, and meetings to clarify scope across departments. Aligning ISMS scope with business objectives. 1. Understand strategic goals. Your ISMS should not just secure assets, it should enable business growth. Involve key stakeholders. Security must be a company-wide initiative, not just an IT concern. 3. Map ISMS scope to business processes. Example: a SaaS company aligns its ISMS scope with its expansion strategy into regulated markets. Conclusion: the key to an effective ISMS scope. An effective ISMS scope is strategic, balanced, and continuously evolving. By clearly defining boundaries, assets, and risks, organizations can ensure security measures align with business needs and compliance requirements. If you found this session helpful, subscribe to CyberSecurity Pro Hub for more ISO 27001 training videos. See you in the next session. Subscribe for more cybersecurity insights. CyberSecurity Pro Hub.